So, what if your company's data, all that information just sitting on a server somewhere, could be bought and sold on an exchange, just like a stock or a barrel of oil? Well, that is the seriously ambitious goal of a company called Datavault AI. Today, we're going to dig into their plan to create a real marketplace for the digital universe. Let's get right into it.
Okay, but before we go any further, we have to start with our standard and very important disclaimer. What you're about to hear is an explainer, and it's based completely on the company's own publicly available info. It is absolutely not financial or investment advice of any kind. Our only goal here is to understand their tech and their strategy, just as they've laid it out.
So what's the big headline that's getting all the attention from their latest corporate update? It's this number right here, a pretty staggering 467% year-over-year revenue growth. And no, that is not a typo. You know, a number like that, it really makes you stop and ask, what in the world is driving this kind of explosive growth?
And that leads us right to the central question we're going to try and answer here. What exactly is Datavault AI? And maybe more importantly, what problem are they solving that's getting this kind of traction in the market? To really get that, we first have to talk about the massive challenge they're taking on.
Let's talk about the core problem with data itself. You know, for most businesses out there, data is kind of like crude oil. Everybody knows it's incredibly valuable, but it's also messy, it's really hard to handle, and it takes this complex, expensive process to refine it and unlock its actual worth. It's basically a massive, untapped asset class, just sitting there, waiting for a market to exist.
And the challenges of trying to refine that digital oil, well, they're coming from all sides. I mean, in a world run by AI, just keeping your data secure is a monumental task. Then you've got this fundamental question of who even owns the data. But maybe the biggest hurdle of all, the one that stumps pretty much everyone, is monetization. How do you put a real price tag on a spreadsheet? These are the exact pain points Datavault AI says it's built to solve.
Okay, so what is Datavault's solution? Well, it's not just a single piece of software, it's a whole ecosystem designed to value and trade data. And at the very heart of it are three key proprietary AI agents that all work together to turn that raw, messy data into a clean, tradable asset.
First up, you've got DataScore. Think of this one as the quality control inspector or the compliance officer. This AI scans a whole data set, scores it for quality and accuracy, and, this is crucial, checks it for compliance with all the different regulations. It basically makes sure every piece of data is clean, legal, and ready for the marketplace.
Next, there's data value. You could call this one the appraiser. Now, this is where the real magic happens. It's a patented AI that actually assigns a real-world dollar value to that data. It turns an abstract concept into a tangible asset that you could literally put on a company's balance sheet.
And finally, there's Datavault Bank. This is the engine that makes the market. It takes the data that's been scored and valued, and then it tokenizes it. That's a fancy way of saying it packages it into a unique, secure digital asset that can be bought and sold on an exchange, transparently and safely.
And this diagram really gives you a great visual of how it all fits together. You see, all this disorganized raw data comes in on the left. It moves through their platform, where it gets scored by DataScore, valued by DataValue, and packaged by Datavault Bank. And what comes out the other side is a structured, tradable digital asset. It's like a factory for turning raw data into revenue.
All right, so they've got the tech. Sounds pretty innovative, right? But as we all know, amazing technology is only half the battle. So how are they actually planning to bring this to market? Let's take a look at their strategy for growth and the really important partnerships they're building to make it all happen.
I mean, when you look at this timeline, it's clear they have been moving at lightning speed. It's just a flurry of activity, from locking down their core patents to forging partnerships with massive industry players like Dolby and IBM. Every single one of these steps looks like a deliberate move to build out their ecosystem and gain some serious momentum.
And those partnerships with IBM and NYX, they are particularly a big deal. With IBM, you get the AI firepower and credibility to really supercharge their platform. And NYX, which is built on NASDAQ's trading framework, gives them a crucial gateway to a real-world financial trading environment. You know, these aren't just press release partnerships. They seem absolutely critical to making their vision a reality.
And the pace is definitely not slowing down. Their plans include launching brand new specialized data exchanges for all kinds of things, like name, image, and likeness, or NIL rights for athletes, and even political data. They're pushing into new high-value markets while at the same time continuing to acquire other key technologies. So,
All of this activity, all these partnerships and acquisitions, it's all aimed at hitting some incredibly ambitious financial targets. They're projecting a huge leap from $1.7 million in Q2 revenue all the way up to between 12 and 15 million in just the second half of this year. And their goal for 2026? $40 to $50 million. That is the definition of a high-growth trajectory.
Okay, but let's be real. With goals that ambitious and claims this groundbreaking, there are always going to be significant risks. So to really get the full picture, we have to look at the challenges and the uncertainties, which, to their credit, the company itself is very open about in its public statements.
And it's really worth seeing their own words on this. This is a direct quote from their legal disclaimer. They state that these kinds of projections are inherently uncertain, and they caution people not to place undue reliance on them. Now, this isn't just standard legalese. It's a really critical piece of context for everything we've just talked about.
And the risks they point out themselves are pretty major. They range from the very immediate need to find more financing to fund all this rapid growth, to the really complex challenge of integrating all the new companies and technologies they're buying. Put simply, the stakes are incredibly high.
So where does that leave us? Well, it's a classic high-risk, high-reward scenario. On one hand, Datavault AI seems to have the technology and a truly bold vision to transform the data economy into a real, tradable market. But on the other hand, can they actually execute on that vision and navigate all the huge hurdles in their path? That really is the billion-dollar question.